Hello, parents and guardians. If you are sitting there wondering how to help your student control their anger, well, this is the video for you. My name is Cuevas, and I am the MC of this presentation. I am the school counselor at HDLA.
Hi, I'm Maggie Medina. I'm an LCSW and a mental health therapist at Rancho Santana School.
Hi, I'm Nalleli Elizalde, school counselor at Mace Middle School.
Hello, I'm Rafael Garcia Zendejas. I'm the school counselor at R.O. Hardin.
In this video, we will be focusing on what leads to anger, identifying some warning signs, how to help your child identify their different levels of anger with the anger thermometer, when is anger a problem and possible consequences, and what is a coping strategy. We will also be providing you with some resources. Before we begin, please enjoy this 30-second breathing exercise.
All right, so we wanted to give a little bit of definition of anger. I'm sure we all have an idea, and I like this picture to describe what sometimes people can feel like or seem like they look like. So anger, from what we know, is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. When we are angry, our body usually feels a lot of energy. It's kind of like our body and our mind are screaming to do something. And this is typically what our little ones feel when they don't know how to express their anger. Anger tells the body to act, and many bodily changes happen to help us act. So sometimes, not knowing what to do, you'll see these little characters come out in our students and our children. So in this next slide, we're going to go over what leads to anger. So I'm going to identify some anger warning signs, and then I'll provide some information on the anger thermometer and how that can be a useful tool to help you identify some of your child's anger triggers and how we can help them with that. All right, so anger warning signs are clues our body gives us indicating that anger is starting to grow. So some of the clues can include physical symptoms, thoughts, or actions. And by learning to identify anger warning signs, students can catch their anger easily and be able to still manage it, right? So on the right side of the screen, you'll see a combination of different physical, thoughts, and action warning signs. So examples: body or handshake, throwing things, feeling hot, punching walls, crying. So you'll see there's a variety of different warning signs, and they're all individual to each child. So some might feel them all, some might feel a few, but it's important to identify those warning signs because they help us figure out the anger as it's starting to grow before it goes into the little red monster I previously showed. So there's an activity you can do with your child, which is creating an anger thermometer. On the last page with our resources, there's going to be a website that can take you to a page where you can get a blank thermometer, or you can just draw your own thermometer. So the importance of the anger thermometer is starting at level 1 through 10, right? So helping your child identify how they feel, what are their warning signs at when they're at a level 1 or 2. And here on the example, you'll see that someone who's just starting to feel angry might act defensively and argumentative. As they become more angry, they become aggressive by raising their voice and using insults. So they did an example here on showing A 3, becoming defensive and argumentative. So you know it's lower on their thermometer. And of course, going higher and identifying what they do when they're angry and at what number they would consider themselves. On the left side, you'll see exploration questions. So these are some examples of some questions you can ask your child. Like, tell me about a time you were at a 10 on the anger thermometer. So you can identify what it looks like for your child to be at a 10, whether that may be becoming physically aggressive or yelling. So each thermometer will be different for each child. But the great thing about this is that when you identify the different levels of your thermometer with your child and what are the anger triggers and the warning signs, when your child is at a 1 or a lower level, 2, 3, and you identify these anger warning signs, then you're able to help them implement some coping strategies, which we'll be explaining further down in our presentation. But the importance is to first help your child identify when they're starting to feel angry and where their anger is at on their thermometer to kind of figure out what kind of coping skills they need at the moment.
So when can anger become a problem? First, it is important for your child to understand that anger is a normal human emotion. Everyone experiences anger. It is okay to feel angry as long as we manage it in a healthy and safe way. However, in some circumstances, anger can have negative consequences. For instance, anger is a problem when it negatively affects others. For instance, if people don't feel comfortable around them, or if they scream, curse, or insult others, then obviously this can lead to them possibly losing some friendships. Also, anger is a problem when it affects performance at school. If they get in trouble most days of the week, if they're unable to work well with others, or if they're unable to let go of their anger for a long time, that they just lose focus on their schoolwork. Also, anger is a problem when it affects their health or well-being. Physically, anger can contribute to high blood pressure, headaches, or even digestive issues. And emotionally, anger can lead to anxiety, depression, or drug alcohol use in some children. Lastly, anger is a problem when it is too intense. For example, if they become too violent with self or others, such as kicking or punching others, or even hitting themselves, for instance, hitting their head on the wall. Or if there's property damage, such as punching walls, destroying property, or legal trouble. If your child does any of these, then it's important to think about maybe getting them some support and learning some coping skills and strategies to better manage their anger.
With all the talk, about anger and trying to be able to manage it, there are some actual coping strategies that can be done at home that are very easy to learn. What are coping strategies? Coping strategies are conscious or unconscious strategies used to reduce unpleasant emotions. Coping strategies can be cognitive or behaviorist and can be individual or social. One thing to note is that there are many coping styles that people use, and some may prove more effective than others depending on the nature of the stressful situation and the person who is employing them. So in the next few slides, we're gonna talk about the coping strategies to help to manage anger.
So there are lots of ways to cope with anger, right? And one way is deep breathing. And deep breathing is really cool because, as you can see in the bullet points, it's simple and effective, it's discreet, and most definitely you can use it at any time or any place, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, in the classroom, even anywhere. And so the usual way to practice deep breathing is, as you can see, read here, you sit or stand, you place a hand on your stomach. You usually want to try to breathe in through your nose deeply enough that the hand on your stomach moves. And then you want to hold the air in your lungs. And then when you're ready, you exhale through your mouth. So it's kind of like this. All right. And it's important to take your time, right? And so as you can see in the last bullet point, there's different ways to use deep breathing. So that means if you need help with your student in practicing deep breathing, there are plenty of YouTube videos where they guide you through the technique. So there's definitely resources out there where you don't have to be alone in teaching your students this technique. And in the next one, another coping skill is arts and crafts. So as you can read here, it provides the students the opportunity to express negative feelings and prevent those negative feelings from building up, right? The last thing we would want is your students to erupt like a volcano. And so arts and crafts is one way to really reduce those negative feelings. And another cool thing about arts and crafts is that it stimulates the release of dopamines. And dopamines are the chemicals in our body that helps us feel happiness. And really, all the coping skills that we're sharing in this video, they all release dopamine. So arts and crafts it's an excellent way, and you can your students can engage in coloring, drawing, painting, origami, Legos, and plenty of more activities. Oh, we can't leave out dancing either. So dancing, when the body feels good, the mind does too, right? So dancing and other movements allows your students to express themselves and let loose, right? And so when a person feels free, their dopamine just raises in our bodies. And so again, dancing is just another great coping skills that helps reduce and control a student's anger. And a fun fact, dancing improves physical health as well.
Another coping strategy that we have is journaling. As it says right here, it frees up mental space and allows you to track symptoms, understand triggers, and see a pattern. Journaling is definitely a great way where it's just you and yourself with a piece of paper and a pencil, and where students have more of a harder time expressing themselves, physically, in their writing, they can definitely, write down how they're feeling, especially more of our little ones who don't really know what the emotions they're feeling. It can be definitely a good one for them to write out how they're feeling in their journal. As I said right now, it can be easy to write about hard things than talk about hard things. It's convenient. It helps process what is happening, and it can also be fun. You can write however you want in your own journal. Nobody is critiquing your grammar. You can write it however you want, however you feel freely. And again, it's a way to express yourself in writing and help you understand what you're feeling. And lastly, talking to a trusting adult. More often than not, most kids have a trusting adult, whether it's at home or at school, who they can talk to. A trusting adult will listen to what you have to say, can help you understand how you feel, offer advice, and as well as different viewpoints. Many of our students here at Hollister School District and now have the opportunity to talk to a counselor or a mental health therapist, as well as a social worker, who they can talk to about all these, not just anger, but all these other emotions that they are feeling, and we can help them and guide them through with their emotions and teach them some of these coping strategies so that they can be able to manage their emotions. All right, and then in this video we have some do it yourself fidget toys. So we know a lot of these fidget toys that many of our students have, like Pop-Its and stress balls. Well, there's actually many things laying around your house that can actually work as do-it-yourself fidget toys. This can definitely be something that can be done on a family fun night, or even at birthday parties with other kids. We're going to play a few minutes from this video.
So as you can see, there are plenty of ways to engage in coping skills for anger, right? So, and these are just even more examples of going for a walk, watching a movie, playing a game, playing outside, and riding bikes and skateboards, listening to music. There's so much more. The key is just finding what works for your student, and once you find what works for your student, and then their anger will be reduced, their angers will be controlled, and it will become much easier for them to discuss what's going on. And finally, as you can see here, there are plenty of resources that you can use. Earlier, I mentioned that there are guided meditative videos for deep breathing. You can find that on the right-hand side of the slide, along with other YouTube videos. Also, you can contact your social emotional team at the school of your where your students attend, including San Benito County Behavioral Health and the Youth Alliance. In addition, there are website resources, including therapist aid and even the Hollister School District Wellness page. Well, thank you everybody for watching the video. I hope it was helpful and educational. I am Joel Cuevas. This is Maggie, Nalleli, and Rafael, and we are signing out.
Thank you for participating. Thank you.
Thank you.